What's the first thing that comes to mind for you when you think of Forge?
We've worked together for a little while now. The first thing that comes to mind is probably just like obviously what you guys do for us, which is just building relationships with people that we would have otherwise struggled to build relationships with on our own, really take a load off of our plate, which has been huge in kind of building those connections, like long-term connections with people that we have been wanting to build relationships with for a long time.
If there's a challenge that you could say Forge helped tackle for your business, for your franchisees, what would you say that would be?
Yeah, we for a long time wanted to build relationships with key people at different organizations and just have so many things going on in our business that we didn't know how to do it. We didn't know who to reach out to, best approach to do on that. And then B, we didn't have the time to actually do that. So when I first started talking with you guys, it was like, wow, this is exactly, this has been on our list for a long time. And then right off the hop, it was like, oh, wow, you guys are making this happen at kind of light speed compared to how we would have ever approached it and with results and so on right away.
In terms of our service, what aspect of it would you say exceeded initial expectations?
Right off the hop, like we got a lot of bids, which was really cool. And, we were working with you guys to make sure that the message was there for kind of building those relationships. So we got on a lot of vendor lists right away, which was something that we had always struggled with. So that was really cool to see kind of take effect. And ultimately, it just working with you guys was also super easy. I think that was really cool. It was just a quick, like you understood the business, you understand what we needed. You were easy to get along with, I didn't need to follow up with you guys as much. It was very much, reaching out to me like, hey, we need this kind of insurance document. Hey, we need this kind of a flyer created. Hey, here's a proof, or here's a template or draft. Can you just give us the proof for it? And yeah, it was easy. Like it just all kind of worked in the background and then you just fed things into our system and our software and away we go.
Awesome. So I tell people this all the time, and that's that Forge isn't for everyone. There's some businesses where we're a great fit, others where it doesn't make as much sense. Now that you've worked with us for a couple of years, what would you say is the type of business or the mindset of the business owner that they would need to have for you to recommend working with us?
For sure. Yeah. I think a couple of things come to mind. So one, a business is looking to scale and grow, right? Because if you're already at capacity, you don't necessarily need lead generation and more help, right? So it's just really being clear with what you can handle. And I know I've spoken to a few people who they might think they want to grow, but they're afraid of it, and then that's going to really hold them back. Two, I would say they really need to know who their customer is, like who that avatar is, so that they can give you guys like the actual key instructions of like, this is who we need, whether it's this person in this role or in this industry or in this geographical location, because you guys are great at just finding that info, but it also needs to be kind of that like B2B client. So if they know like, hey, this is our target person, we've done work with this type of client before, go find us 20 more of them or 100 more of them. You're going to do that. So it's just really being keen on who that customer is that you guys can go and find them. And then just kind of taking the leap. I think, a lot of times people are nervous to try new forms of marketing, but the world is ever changing and we need to really kind of understand that and embrace it and realize like, if you're not growing, you're dying type thing. So it's like, just roll with it, test it out, and then just make the most of it.
100%. In the spirit of feedback, given that you're one of our longest standing clients, what do you think we could make better about our service so that you're getting the best experience?
That's tough because at the beginning we got a lot, like more for us, even it was more than we could handle ultimately. Like it was a big learning curve at the beginning which was great. Like it really helped us as a business understand what we needed to do in terms of like pricing and in terms of like just kind of getting used to and familiar with the new landscape. Because the B2B stuff for us at this level wasn't something that we were super comfortable and used to. So I think, if I would have changed it, it would have been nice. Again, it was the early days, but just kind of having a bit of a heads up of what to expect in terms of like, hey, we're going to throw this many bids at you. And, they're the kinds of people you're going to be meeting. And this is what they expect. So that was our own fault and challenge. So like I said, as long as people understand exactly like what they're looking for, I don't think there's really going to be any changes because you guys are just super key on understanding someone's business, what they need, and then kind of delivering the results and pivoting. Right? I mean, like we've had lots of conversations over the last, year and a bit where we've just, hey, let's go after this market now and let's tweak this. And hey, you know what, you got us a lot of leads in this, but sadly, we can't handle that. So can we just axe that and move into this sector?
Which specific aspect of the service do you think you found or that your team found most valuable?
Yeah, I guess ultimately just getting the certain leads are just fantastic. Some of those leads just, they just pop into the CRM and all of a sudden it's like, hey, you got a new lead, make the call and you go book an $80,000 job. And it's like, it just happens behind the scenes, right? Like it's so worth it. So it's a neat avenue to have in kind of the marketing strategy.
Do you have a specific example of one lead or one job in particular that we may have been able to connect you with that was like a big win?
Yeah, I mean the one I think it was 80 or 90,000 was like a property manager for Strata Complex, and that was awesome because obviously we booked the job and it was just really smooth and kind of right up our alley of the types of projects that we do. But another one that I'm still looking forward to, and that's where a lot of these are sometimes like a bit of a longer term kind of relationship, was it was a big restaurant chain that we got in touch with, and it was a matter of like, hey, okay, we get to do a bit of a pilot project for them to make sure that it's good. We did that, and they're like, hey, cool, you get to be our in-house teachers for all of our kind of renovations and upcoming builds over the next bunch of years, just because we want someone that we can trust and someone that can facilitate working in all the cities that they operate in, which is a good match for us. So that was a huge one.
Super cool. Super cool. All right. Appreciate the time, Jordan. Thanks.
Okay. You're very welcome.